Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Dr. Ellen Crocker. She's with the University of Kentucky, Forest Health Specialist there. Good morning, Ellen.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I'm glad you're here today because I think we're going to talk about a topic that's very important to a lot of people. You know, in December we had some tornadoes tear through this area as well as other parts of Kentucky, and the woodlands were no exemption from getting damaged by those tornadoes.
It's true, and while that certainly wasn't going to be anyone's highest priority right when those tornadoes came through, we're still seeing damage in those woods. And of course, there was the initial damage caused by those tornadoes, the fact that trees are impacted, but also thinking forward to the future. How do you promote the health of your woods and make them a valuable resource going forward?
Absolutely, and a lot of times in this part of the state especially, people don't think of woodlands and forestry as a huge, economic impact, but it is. We have a lot of woodlands in Warren County and South Central Kentucky, and so if it's an afterthought, it might be a really good time to really start thinking about it and planning ahead for your forest health.
Definitely, and right now I think is a good time to think about the state of things. How are the trees doing? Is there extensive damage in the trees that are left? And can those trees recover? Some different species respond differently, and it all depends on how much of the canopy of that tree was impacted, and is that species able to grow rapidly and recover or not?
And probably the first thing that we would probably recommend for woodland owners to do is to maybe talk to a forester, find out what species, because that's probably the first step, right?
Yes, I do think that getting a knowledgeable forester in your woods, there's really, nothing better than that in terms of someone who's really going to know the species that are there and what is going to happen to them long term. How are they going to recover and respond to that? Or is more management needed right now to set your woods up for success down the road?
Absolutely, because I know one of the areas that you work in quite a bit is invasives, and we want to make sure that doesn't kind of take hold in our forest because that could decrease our forest health.
That's a great point. In addition to the direct damage to trees that those tornadoes brought, I think we're going to see a lot more invasive species afterwards. Those invasive plants, they love disturbance. They can rapidly take advantage of the kinds of conditions that tornadoes create. And why is that a problem? Those invasive plants, if they're clogging up your woods and they're growing really densely, you're not going to see that response of native species, seedlings and saplings growing of native trees that can be valuable long-term, both to you financially, but also to the wildlife and insects that depend on them. If you just have a sea of invasive species, they're going to crowd and shade out the natives that you want to see. And in addition to kind of the conditions being right for invasives right now, so if you had any there to begin with, they could be really taking off. Who knows what might have blown in that tornado, what new arrivals might be there that you wouldn't have seen before. So now is a great time to be scouting for invasive species.
And knowing what is in your woodlands, I think that's important. And then a lot of people have called and asked, I have debris, I have some down limbs and different things like that. And of course, a farmer's mentality is to clean that up. But in some cases, the forester can maybe suggest sometimes some of that is beneficial.
Definitely. And so I think, our woods and trees are really resilient. There's a lot that they're going to be able to cope with. But there's also a lot we can do to be promoting the health of your woods and promoting their success long term.
Absolutely. And once you get in touch with your forester, then you can reach out maybe to your Natural Resource and Conservation Office or your conservation district, because there could be funds. If there was a plan that you wanted to implement with your forest health, there could be some cost share funds available, and it's just good to maybe find out what's available out there.
Definitely. If you can get funds to support invasive plant management or other things, that can offset some of those costs and set you up for success down the road.
Absolutely. Well, Ellen, certainly appreciate the information. And you also have a webinar every Wednesday, the whole forestry department. And if people want more information, or maybe we want to be more educated about their woodlands, they can join you then.
Definitely. Check us out at From the Woods Today. It's our weekly webcast program on Wednesdays. And in addition, we've got a great program coming up for woodland owners, the Woodland Owners Short Course that will be this fall. And so there's going to be webinars and in-person visits. If people want to learn more about how to manage their woods and those resources that they can get in touch with for next steps in management, like foresters, that's a great starting place.
All right, Ellen, certainly appreciate the information. And if you have questions, make sure to contact your local extension office. Thanks for watching and have a great day.